How to use the BibleGet plugin or add-on for Google Docs. Once you have installed the add-on, you'll find it inside of the add-ons menu under BibleGet.io. To start using the plugin, just click on Start. It'll open the sidebar. And in the sidebar, you can choose from the versions of the Bible that you would like to quote from. For now, there's only 4 versions available. Let's say you want to quote from the English version, Nabre. Write in the quote that you would like here where it says Insert Citation using standard notation such as Matthew 1:1-10. The BibleGet plugin for Google Docs will recognize both the standard English notation or also European notation. In European notation, you would use a comma instead of a colon. And then just click on Get to insert that quote into the document. You can also do complex queries, such as getting more than one chapter and verse, or getting quotes from different books. If you put a semicolon, you can go ahead and get another quote in there, John 3:16, and you can quote from more than one version at the same time. If you want to select multiple versions, you have to hold down the Control key and then click on the next version you'd like to quote from, and you can see that now you have 2 selections, NABRE and NVBSE, the Nova Vulgata Latin version. Now if you hit Get, you'll get both Matthew 1:1-10 and John 3:16 from both the NABRE and the NVBSE versions. That way you can even compare versions. You can also search for verses by keyword if you're not sure of the reference that you need to put here to quote from. Let's say you're looking for a verse that has the word creation in it. Just type in creation. Make sure you have the right version selected that you want to search from, and click on search. This will pull up a window with search results. It's not currently possible to insert the verses from the search results directly into the document. That's something I hope to add in the near future, but at least it gives you a reference, like from the book of Wisdom, chapter 2, or chapter 16, verse 24. Let's say you like that verse and you'd like to put it into your document. Well, now you know Wisdom 16:24. So you just close that window, go back to your insert citation in Wisdom 16:24, Get. So the search functionality helps you a little bit, but it's not as streamlined as it could be, but we'll get there. You'll notice that when you quote from the NABRE version, there's some poetic formatting here. Instead of having the text of the verse continuous, you can see that there's a new line here. You can override that if you need to, going into the BibleGet.io settings. Other than changing the color and bold italics for the book chapter, for the text of the verses, for the verse numbers, you can change all those options here, and they'll get memorized so that you can use the same options for every quote you put in your document. You can also override the NABRE's version formatting. Let's say you don't need the poetic formatting, but you'd like continuous text. You can click here, Override Bible Version Formatting. Now, when you go to put Wisdom 16:24 into your document, Well, that didn't work, I guess. I'll have to look into that. In any case, let's move on. My docs interface is in centimeters. You probably won't want that selected. That's for this ruler at the top. I've drawn a ruler that kind of gives the idea of the ruler in the docs interface to show where your tabs are. You can set your left indentation and your right indent, and these will show you the tab stops where your left and right indent will actually be when you insert the quote into your document. Here, by default, it goes in inches. It shows up in inches. If for any reason someone has their interface in centimeters, you can go ahead and click here and put your ducks, show the ruler in centimeters. Let's leave it in inches for now. You can change also the font for the text of the Bible quotes. In this font drop down, I've currently just thrown in about 1,000 fonts that come from the Google Fonts API. Unfortunately, it's not possible for an add-on to know what fonts you have in your document font drop down. So we'll just have to, I just had to go with putting in all of the Google fonts for now to let you choose from. And it's not a problem if you choose here a font that you don't already have in your Google Fonts drop-down. It will be added to your Google Fonts drop-down if you use it. Why did that not pick up Quattrocento? Let's select Quattrocento. There we go. Now the text will be inserted with the Quattrocento font. You can set your line height, single, 1.15 or 1.5. Let's leave it at 1.5 for now. You can change the layout of the elements that will be inserted into your document. For example, the version indicator, you can have it at the left, which is actually the default, at the center, or at the right. You can even have it down below your quotes. You can wrap it in parentheses, in brackets. Let's say we put it at the top center so it's quite visible. Or you could even hide it if you don't really need it. You can also move your book and chapter to the center, to the right, to the bottom below your quotes. You can even put them bottom inline so the book and the chapter will be in line with the text of the verses. You can wrap it in parentheses if you like. What are these options over here? Format of the book and chapter. You can see that the preview quote is from the Latin version, so the name of the book is in Latin. If for any reason you would like the name of the book to be in your own language, the interface language of Google Docs, you can change to language of Google Docs interface, and here you can see it's now in English. So the quote is in Latin, but the name of the book is in English. If for any reason you need that, or if you want the abbreviation, it'll be an abbreviation in English, or you can use the abbreviation in the original version that you're quoting from, in this case Latin. Show full reference will add the verses quoted to the book and the chapter reference. You can even hide the verse numbers if you want that, or if you need that. Supported versions and languages doesn't really give you options, but it lets you know which versions are currently supported by the BibleGet plugin for Google Docs, well, by the BibleGet server. And these are all the languages that it will recognize the names of the books of the Bible in. So when you type in your quote, you could type wisdom in English or sapienza in Italian or in whatever other language, and it'll still work the same. This information isn't always up to date. If a new version does get added to the BibleGet server, it won't show up here right away. You'll have to update the data using this button here. As we can see, no new versions have been added. The other button here is to reset all of the options here, the settings, to default. Let's do that. You can see now our text is black, no longer red, in the version in the chapter. And from here you can change your defaults again. You can change your options again, starting from the default options. That can be useful if someone had already installed this from the Chrome Web Store in the past. Since I've refactored the code, pretty much rewritten quite a bit of it, and added a lot of new options, changed some of the options that were there, things might not line up right away. Options might be a little bit screwed up, whatever. So just, if that does happen, just go here to supported versions and languages and hit reset preferences to default options, and then you should have a clean start. If you want to know what exact names of the Bible you need to use, of the books, for the books of the Bible, what exact names you have to use for the books of the Bible, or what abbreviations you can use, you can go to BibleGet.io instructions. It'll open the sidebar with the instructions, and this will have two tabs. The first tab explains how you formulate a Bible query, a Bible quote query, with the colons and the commas and the dashes and everything, hyphens. The second tab has a list of the books and the abbreviations. Sometimes there's more than one choice. Look, for example, Psalms. You can either write Psalms or you can write Psalm, like Psalm 50, or Book of Psalms, Psalms 50, Psalm 50. Ecclesiastes or Qohelet. Song of Songs, or just Song, or Canticle of Canticles, or Song of Solomon. There's a few different ways of writing that. Even for the abbreviations. For example, Leviticus, you can have Lev or LV. So it gives you multiple options. And this works for any language too. Even if you're quoting from English, you can always go to the language drop down and find another language, Italian. Even if you wrote it in Italian, Genesis, it'll work just as well as if you wrote it in English. So these are all the languages that the names of the books of the Bible are recognized by the BibleGet server. You can even write them in Korean and Japanese or whatever. I hope you find this add-on useful. If you have any observations, just let me know. Any formatting options that you would like. If you find some kind of a limitation or a bug in the software, let me know. You can write to me at admin@bibleget.io, and I'll try to work everything out. Thanks for listening, and enjoy.